Oh, sorry.
Well,
I accidentally clicked a button and it paused you right when you were going to say something extremely important. So, without further ado, that was a nifty little intro, right? It was a voiceless intro showing what typical people's calendars look like to what they could be. And that'll segue into the cash flow and closing show with Cody and Rahul. Anyways, why don't you take it away?
We need to add that music from the other intro video to this one. So the rock music on the way in, so it's not silent, but people get it. And guys, what we're talking about today is very relevant to the topic we've been talking about for the last little while, which is all about setting appointments, booking sales calls, creating predictable client acquisition systems. And like the little thing on the bottom, just say every time we do this, Rahul's rolling out a new feature. So now there's a little thing that pops up on the bottom and it says smash the heart button. Guys, we love the love button. Smash the heart button. Give us comments, and you'll see in the description up above, I'm just going to do the shameless plug up front this time. There's a little note that says, please, we have a free masterclass coming out next week on building setter teams and how we've done it and how we've gotten those setter teams filled and all the hunting grounds and everything they do to get 100+ appointments every single month. And we're not joking when we say our Zoom account only allows us to have 100 people. There's actually, I think, if not 100 and over 100, there's almost 100 at least already registered. Now, as you guys all know, not all of them are going to show up. So if you want to be a part of it, we are going to cap the registrants here soon because we want to make sure we have enough room on the actual Zoom. So if you want to do that, you're still available to do it now. You just got to comment, what did I say? Hashtag GSD, not T, down below in the comments so that we can get that going. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's very relevant to that. Today, we're going to be talking about why do agencies and coaches constantly get themselves ghosted by their VAs, their setters, and their other out-of-country employees. That happens all the time, guys. And raise your hand in the comments wherever you are. I'm actually not sure where we're in the group. I think we're on Rahul's profile. We're in a few places. Down below in the comments if you've had this happen to you, where you've had an employee or a virtual assistant or a setter from somewhere like the Philippines or like Mexico or somewhere in South America or somewhere else where they don't cost a lot, and then you get through just the first couple of weeks and then they just disappear, right? They're just completely gone. It happens to a lot of people, guys. It happens consistently, and there's very specific reasons for why that is. So I'm going to start this call today, and when Rahul comes back, he can add his 2 cents in, and I'm just going to go over specifically what I've seen because I've been doing a lot of these teams recently, and we've really refined our first call with people to really try and hone in on this. And the 3 main keys that I'm seeing, guys, and yeah, give me a hashtag. I love these little prompts. It's like having a little prompt screen. I'm telling you, oh yeah, remember to do this part. Hashtag live, hashtag replay down below, guys, for the algorithm as well. But what I'm talking about here, guys, is that we're coming up with a few different reasons. The number one, probably the most important part, all right, is you're not discussing their pay, as in how they're going to get paid, when they're going to get paid, and exactly how you're going to determine that payment. To us, some of us, that seems obvious. Oh, we pay employees every couple of weeks. As soon as you submit your invoice or your time share, I take those hours, I add them up, and I send them to you however it is. But you got to understand that a lot of these employees from these countries who are getting paid a lower wage and all of this kind of stuff, they are actually getting screwed over by people quite often. As much as you think they're ghosting you oftentimes because they've been ghosted in the past or they've been screwed over for pay and all this kind of stuff. And so they need the security. They need to know from you specifically how that's going to happen, right? And the faster and the easier you can make that clear to them, the more loyal they're going to actually be. The second thing, guys, is what they're actually going to be doing. I know it's crazy, right? A lot of people grab VAs and they're like, do this and do that and do that and do this. And they're so unstructured that it's not an enjoyable experience for them, and they'll find another job that is a better job, just like any person would. Why wouldn't you go work at a better place where you have structure and you have the ideal schedule in front of you, right? So you're telling them to work odd hours of the night, and you're telling them to do a million little tasks, and you don't have an actual role for them. We, in fact, for VAs and setters and all of this stuff, have SOPs for our people and also anybody that we train for any of our students. They're exact roles, very, very specific tasks that they're only going to be doing on a day-to-day basis. And in fact, we help our students build out, okay, what is the hours they're going to be working? what is the time blocking they might need to do, what's the tools they need to do, and have all of that stuff in place to be able to understand exactly what am I going to be doing on a day-to-day basis so that they can do it well. Otherwise, you're going to throw a fish out of water over there on the sand and expect it to get up and walk, right? That's not how it works. That's not going to be effective. And you're going to then blame them for not doing a good job when it's really you who did a bad job at structuring the position. I'm trying to get out of the way of this wolf. I got to move over here in the middle. It's trying to cover up my face. Here, guys. I'll talk through the wolf to everybody. It's good. If you have that structure in place, then they'll be a good employee. If you don't, then they're going to be a fish out of water, and it's not going to work. And number 3 is a defined path within the company, a role. Everybody wants purpose, right? They want purpose. They want to feel like they're a part of a team, a part of a family, and they also want to feel like they are actually needed and contributing to the overall success of the team. So too many people just don't even communicate. They're like, I got this overseas employee. They'll send an end-of-day report if they're even doing that. And they'll be like, oh, this is great, this is great, this is great. And then they'll disappear. They're like, oh, what happened? Well, you haven't talked to them in 3 days. There's been no communication. There's been no feedback loops. They're not a part of a team. Why would they stay? And the main thing I'm seeing, guys, is all 3 of those things is happening 9 times out of 10 when they're just going off and hiring and doing this randomly without any structure or help from people like us to make sure that you're doing it correctly. And so when you do any one of these things can cause specifically these VAs, these setters, these overseas employees to leave. But especially when you do all 3, I mean, it's amazing that they come to your company at all or that they stay for any duration of time. And so the 3 things to recap, guys, number 1, pay. How are you going to pay them? How much and how often? Exact dates. To you, it might be nothing to say, I'm going to pay them every other Friday, and for some reason you pay them on Monday because there's some delays in their bank accounts or your bank accounts or something wasn't set up and all of that. But that delay to them, when they're paranoid, and 9 times out of 10 they're paranoid, means to them, I got fucked over, I'm not going to get paid, screw this, and they're going to find a new job on that weekend. They're going to not come back on that Monday. They're going to say their internet's out or they're sick or something that we've all heard before, and they're just not going to show up to work. And to you, you're thinking, well, it's only 2 days, but to them, they might be living paycheck to paycheck. They might need it. And also they might have been screwed over before and not realize that there's just a 2-day delay. They might think I'm not getting paid at all. I got to go find something else because I got to feed myself. I got to do this stuff. And it's not fair for you to blame them in that situation. If you said you're going to pay them on that day, pay them on that day, or at least have a communication pattern in place to make sure that that goes on, right? 2, defined roles. Otherwise, it's a clusterfuck. It's confusion. Everybody's blaming everybody and nothing really gets done. And 3, a purpose and communication and a familial feel.
Yeah, I mean, all of that stuff is super important because it builds culture, right? They feel like they're wanted in the organization. They feel like they're important, and that's important. People want a pat on the back, so it gives that cultural effect. You keep in touch with them. We'll be walking through all the nuances and the details of that part, and then we're gonna get into some sexy shit, which is what a lot of people want. But that focal point is why people stay and get kept. That's how you can scale: is keep in touch and keep the people that you have on your team like indoctrinated and working really hard, kind of like clients. Like it's easier to keep a client than it is to get a new one. Same thing with hiring. You want to keep the good ones, and the bad ones will weed themselves out over time. But then we're gonna get into some sexy shit, some Tom Brady shit, as I call it, the stuff that wins the championships. What can you have them do based on the role you have? And a lot of you guys want people to do the setting so you can do the sales, or do the setting and warm them up so you have a closer that you can recruit to have warm appointments and do the sales. So we'll show you the detailed activities that they need to be doing because there's so many little leaks. Like as we come up with an idea, we just put it on our idea board. So like if it's like, hey, if people are responding to our comments, there's a lead pool. If you have a group, there's another lead pool. If somebody likes a comment, there's a lead pool. If somebody hasn't communicated in a while, another lead pool. So we go from like the warmest mandatory activities that are the day in, day out activities, which is the routine. And then there's going to be the outlier activities that are on a certain frequency interval that aren't every single day. It's not like, oh, I just thought I should do this on Tuesday, but then I'll never do it again for 30 more days. So we want to identify where are those little inches that are swinging your door wide open to losing the floodgates of your leads. And that's where you can like really monetize a setter into being a powerful person, even if they don't have the most experience. If they don't have the greatest experience, you have a couple choices: pay more money, get somebody more experienced, or train them to get to where you want their level to be. And we'll be walking through like what we do internally and show you what can benefit you guys, because it works for us. It works for 150 plus students. There's no reason it shouldn't work for any of you guys. It's just if you put the work in or not.
Cool. I think that's a good place for us to stop here, guys. And just remember, how are we solving a lot of that? By clarifying all of that on onboarding interviews. So once you've decided you're going to hire them, all of those points that I've made a point of today, the pay, the schedule, and the team and communication patterns and what's expected of them, perfect clarity in that is going to cause you to be able to retain people. This was only a small little piece of what we're doing for people, and we're going to go over a lot. And like Rahul said, the sexy shit on Tuesday, next Tuesday, 2 p.m. PST. So if you want to access to that class, it's free, 100% free, but we have no control over. It's going to be first come, first serve. If you want the link to join, you got to get it now, and you got to comment down below, #GSD, or honestly, just say, hell yeah, please, Cody, give me it. We'll get it to you either way. To get the access, and we'll DM you over the link. We'll get this shit rocking and rolling, and we'll get some shit done. I think that is it. Any closing words? Any wise words for us?
No wise words. Just comment. That's gonna be the easiest thing. That's gonna be the wisest thing I can say today. Is just come join us. You'll be blown away. We always bring the heat. You'll be glad you did. And that's all how we'll end it. So cash flow and closing out.